She was gone. I thought I'd never hear from her again, until my phone buzzed the day after her funeral. A message from her. From beyond. What it said shook me to my core, and made me question everything about love and loss. I've attended many funerals in my life, but hers didn't feel real. When I stood there, under that pale October sky, watching them lower her coffin into the ground, it felt like someone else's life, someone else's grief, someone else's loss. Because part of me refused to believe she was gone. Her name was Anna Carter. We weren't married. We weren't even together when she died. But she was the one person who ever truly saw me. And I lost her, long before death took her away. I met Anna during college. She was the kind of girl who smiled like she knew something the rest of the world didn't. Her laughter had this contagious energy that made even the most ordinary days feel special. She was light, and I was the storm that tried to hold her. We dated for 3 years, loved fiercely, fought harder. And one night, one stupid night, I ended it. I told her I needed space, that she deserved better, that I wasn't ready for forever. The truth? I was scared of losing her someday. So I left before she could leave me. Coward. That's what I was. A coward who thought leaving first would hurt less. But I was wrong. I didn't see her again. After that night, I heard she moved to another city, started a small art studio. Once, I almost drove there. I had the address, even typed it into my GPS, but I couldn't do it. I told myself it was too late. Years passed. I got a decent job, made friends, dated other people. But no matter who I was with, I always compared them to her. No one had her warmth, her laugh, her chaos. Then, last month, I got a call. It was her cousin, Emily. Her voice was trembling. "Jake, Anna's gone." For a moment, I thought she meant she'd moved again. Maybe to another country. But when I heard the silence that followed, my knees went weak. Cancer. Stage 4. She'd known for almost a year. And she never told me. I sat there on the floor of my apartment, staring at the wall, unable to breathe. It didn't seem fair. The world couldn't take someone like her, not when she still had so much light left to give. Funeral was held on a cloudy Sunday. I didn't know if I had the right to be there, but I went anyway. I stood at the very back of the chapel, trying to blend in, while people shared stories of her kindness, her art, her smile. Every word was like a dagger of guilt, because I wasn't part of her kindness anymore. I wasn't part of her anymore. When the service ended, people began leaving, some crying, some holding each other. I stayed, staring at the framed photo of her on the altar. In that picture, she was smiling, that same mischievous, knowing smile, like she was still teasing me from somewhere far away. I whispered, "I'm sorry." But the words felt too small, too late. That night, I sat on my couch with a drink in my hand, scrolling through old photos. Us at the lake, us laughing over burnt pancakes, her sketching me, pretending to be serious but giggling halfway through. I must have looked at those photos for hours, drowning in what-ifs. That's when my phone buzzed. A message. At first, I didn't think much of it. I assumed it was a spam notification. But when I glanced at the screen, my blood went cold. It said from Anna Carter. I froze. My mind couldn't process it. It couldn't be her. Not after today. My fingers shook as I opened it. It wasn't spam. It wasn't a prank. It was a real message. "Hey, Jake, if you're reading this, I guess I'm gone. Don't be scared. I scheduled this message weeks ago. There's something I need you to know. Something I never told you." I dropped the phone. It clattered on the coffee table, but I couldn't move. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. After a long moment, I picked the phone up again. The message continued. "I didn't tell anyone except Emily, but I asked her to make sure this gets sent to you after the funeral. You deserve to know the truth." I scrolled, hands trembling. "I never stopped loving you, Jake, not for a day. You hurt me, yes, but I understood. I knew you were scared of losing people. I was too, but you didn't lose me. You never really did." I stared at those words through tears. My throat felt tight. I wanted to scream. She went on. "When I found out about the cancer, I thought about reaching out. But I didn't want your pity. I wanted your love, the way it was before fear ruined it. So I started writing you letters. I never mailed them, but Emily knows where they are. Go to my art studio. You'll find them in the blue box under my desk. I could barely breathe. The studio was just 2 hours away. Without thinking, I grabbed my keys and drove into the night. It was almost midnight when I reached her studio. The lights were off, but the key Emily had given me worked. Inside, everything smelled like her. Paint, paper, vanilla. The walls were covered in her artwork. Portraits, landscapes, abstract splashes of color. And then, there were the portraits of me. Dozens of them. Some smiling, some distant, some broken. She'd kept painting me, even after all those years. I found the blue box beneath her desk, just where she said it would be. It was filled with letters, each one neatly tied with a red ribbon. My name was written on the first one. I sat on the floor, opened it carefully, and began to read. Her words were raw, full of love, anger, longing, everything we never said. She wrote about the nights she couldn't sleep, about dreaming of me standing in her doorway, about the day she got her diagnosis, and how she'd smiled through the pain, pretending she still had time. In one letter she wrote, "If you're reading this, I hope you've forgiven yourself. You didn't break me, Jake. You just left too soon. But I kept you alive. In paint, in words, in every color I touched. I hope one day you'll forgive yourself enough to live fully again." By the time I finished the last letter, the sun was rising through the studio window. I sat there, surrounded by her art, feeling both destroyed and reborn. I went to her grave the next morning. I brought one of her paintings with me, the one she'd titled Unfinished. It was a portrait of the two of us, half-colored, half-blank. I placed it beside her stone. Then I whispered, "I forgive myself, but I'll never stop missing you." The wind brushed against my cheek, soft and warm, like a hand. And for a fleeting second, I swear I heard her laugh. They say grief fades with time. But the truth is, it just changes shape. You stop crying every day, but the ache remains. For me, that ache comes every time my phone buzzes late at night. For a second, I still hope it's her. Another message from somewhere beyond. And maybe, in some way, it is. Because love doesn't die with the body. It lingers, in words, in memories, in everything left unsaid. And now, when I close my eyes and think of her, I don't see the coffin, or the grave. I see her smile. That knowing, playful smile. The one that says, "You found me again."